say
So
from
would the tip be to do montages in real life?
Yes,
Just turn on a camera
montages everywhere.
and do it in slow motion. Put on music, blast music out loud. It's raining,
I like that it's raining, man.
hey man. While you're getting ready. That's the song.
Hi, I'm Caitlin,
And I'm Charlie.
and this is Little Milo.
Little Milo's sleeping.
And welcome to Outsmarting the Shadows, where we help you
Survive
horror movies.
That we do.
Yes. Okay, so today,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little bit different.
Yeah, you told me we're not watching a movie today. I was like, oh, do tell.
In fact,
I don't know what's happening.
right? So in fact, it's a lot different. So we have a segment today that's called Short Ones, where
Short ones.
Short ones.
I like it.
So it's going to be a little bit shorter, but it could still be the same length as our normal podcast, but maybe not.
I guess we'll see.
We'll see, because it's a specific kind of discussion, not just about one movie, but about concepts.
Okay.
And we're going to survive the concepts.
Okay.
Okay. So in horror movies, what we're going to cover today are tropes.
Tropes. Oh, I like tropes.
Yes. Tropes.
I have a trope from 80s horror movies. I wonder how we will survive that trope. Yes.
So the first trope we're talking about today is a pretty easy one.
Yeah.
It's cat scares.
Cat scares.
I'm going to explain what I mean.
What are cat scares?
This was classically used in the 1979 film Alien.
Alien. Oh, yeah, I remember the little cat in Alien.
Yes, the little orange cat in Alien.
Don't forget the name, though.
I forget the name of that cat, too. But as an example, because this is something that they've used in horror movies throughout the ages and since 1979 quite a bit.
Okay.
Where a cat jumps out, scares the character, and it gets a jolt from the audience.
Yeah, that's what I call cheap scares or jump scares.
Yes. However, in Alien, the director decided we're going to have the cat scare them because they all know when the cat scares you, it's just a cheap jump scare. And then the alien's going to come out right after that.
Okay.
So it was a cheap jump scare to get ready for the real scare.
Okay.
It's a really cool horror movie trope because it creates a lot of sound, it creates a lot of movement. It is a little bit scary at first, and something is genuinely jumping out at you.
Yeah. And the same thing, the last podcast we did was Night of the Creeps.
Yes.
And in Night of the Creeps, there's a scene where she opens the door and the cat, which they put a really weird echo for the cat's meow. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, what, did they go into a cave all of a sudden?
The cat's in a cave.
Right? So it's the cat, okay. And then right immediately after that, you see the zombie-ish slug people come after the lady.
Yes. Now, again, so the cat scare is a pretty classic trope. And so it happens frequently in horror movies. So I thought we could talk about dissecting some survival tips that you might experience.
I got one survival tips. Just, cats are the devil. Don't have a cat.
Okay.
Cats are gross.
Well,
have a dog.
Let's say you're like us and you have a lot of cats.
Against my better judgment.
So we have quite a few cats. And our cats do like to very quickly rush into the door.
Yes.
Though our cats don't scare us the same way that for some reason movie cats are like much more aggressive than real cats. Because I've never had a cat jump out at me and try and scratch me.
Right? No, neither have I.
Yeah.
And if you do that, you just punt it. Just, haha, get out of here, cat.
Well,
right?
I would say a suggestion would be...
Well, I've seen the cats here jump and scratch at Milo here.
Well, to be fair, he chases them.
Yes. Yes, he does.
And that relates to my survival tip, which is...
Chase them?
Make friends with the cats.
Ah, that is a horrible survival tip. Who wants to make friends with cats?
Well...
Make friends with dogs.
So I think that you're pretty good friends with Ninja and Little Ninja, who are a couple of our cats.
I am a dog person. I'm not a cat person.
You are a dog person, but I will say, in a horror movie situation, you are covered because you've made friends with the cats.
I guess I have.
And to a certain extent, so has Milo. He chases them only when they're up for it.
Yes.
And then they chase him back.
And then he catches them, and he doesn't know what to do. It's like, okay, I got it. But he doesn't grab them.
No.
He just stands in front of them and then kind of like paws them.
And then they paw him back.
Right?
Yeah.
And then when he's leaving, they jump at him.
And Little Ninja specifically asks him to jump to chase her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she'll chase him.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cute.
Kind of like a back and forth of who chases who.
Yeah. So I would also say as a survival tip, if a cat jumps out at you unexpectedly,
something bad will happen after.
Something bad might happen. Like,
so you should
be on alert.
Or run with the cat.
Oh yeah, run with the cat. Remember, cats usually will escape.
Yeah.
Dogs always die, but cats usually get out.
Right? Dogs always die.
Yeah.
And that in Night of the Creeps, the cat did not.
The cat didn't
die,
survive. Yeah.
Right?
But to be fair, I feel like it makes sense because the cat not only the worm would get into its mouth, but the cat would eat it intentionally.
Right?
Right? The cat would be like, "Oh,
nice.
that's cool."
Like
I mean, that was like its one weakness.
Right?
It's little scurrying things.
Scurrying slugs.
It looks like
it's like, haha, I got it. Whoop, got it in my mouth.
Right? But it's the happiest death for that cat.
Right? It's like, I got it.
I got it.
All right. Yes. Yes, it is.
All right. Well, so that's a good first kind of overall scare. So the second piece that's kind of like a trope that is, we've already solved this, but we got to talk about it, is everybody in the movie, all the main characters, even though they've Scoobied up, right? Even though we
Scoobied up.
Right? We figured out, okay, there's something going on. We got to figure
it
out. We go in different directions and we separate.
The classic, let's all separate
to
investigate.
Let's go find Janet.
Right.
Or
you go through this hallway.
I'll go.
I go to the second floor. You go to the basement, and you go through that portal that leads to a burning building.
Right, and we'll figure out. Then we'll powwow, reconvene. You'll never see them again. They're all gonna get picked off one at a time.
Someone's gonna die, or they're all gonna die.
Yes.
And at the end, only the person with plot shield will survive.
Yes. Now, this is classically illustrated in Halloween from 1978.
Okay.
When everybody separates and they all die. Okay. Or it's actually interesting that this is also demonstrated in anytime there's like more than 3 characters, they get picked off one at a time because of that.
Also, that happens in Alien too.
It does happen in Alien.
They all get picked up one at a time until Sigourney Weaver, which her character was, I forget the lady's character.
Her character's name was Ellen Ripley.
Oh yes, Ellen Ripley.
Yeah.
She's the only one that's... Oh, and the cat survived.
So in terms of surviving this, that's one of the reasons why I created the 7-minute rule. The 7-minute rule really gets rid of any possibility of Scoobying it up or looking for a person or separating, because every single person, no matter what's going on, should know the 7-minute rule.
Well, hold up. What if the listener or viewer is the first time that he's listening or viewing, they don't know what the 7-minute rule is. So you have to explain, what is the 7-minute rule?
So the 7-minute rule goes like this. If you hear something creepy or something weird is happening in your house or in your location, and you think it could be supernatural, or you think, I need to survive this, you go immediately to your nearest vehicle that is outside. Don't go to a vehicle in the garage. A vehicle that is outside.
What if the vehicles are all in the garage?
Then you get into the car, you check the back seat, you make sure that you have the keys on you. That's your only task. You do not go into little Johnny's room and get Johnny first. You take everything that you just have on you with you. You get into the car and you back it out of the garage and you get onto the street. Okay?
Okay.
Now, once you are in the car, the 7-minute rule has commenced. Okay. All right?
So you got 7 minutes.
You have 7 minutes.
Once you're in the car, but the car is on the road.
The car's on the road. The keys are in the ignition. You have your phone, and you start calling every member of your household, and you have previously, the same way you would a fire drill, explained to everyone, here's your exits in a fire, here's what the 7-minute rule is. So everyone knows what it is. And then you call every single member of your family or everyone that's in that building, and you say, hey, 7-minute rule applies. You have 7 minutes to get to this car.
From wherever you are.
From wherever you are.
Okay.
And if they're not there in 7 minutes,
you leave.
You leave. Now, there's 2 ways to approach the 7-minute rule.
Why not 10?
The reason why it's not 10 is too many minutes. It's too long. A killer can come and get you. The supernatural force can really start to kind of dig its teeth in. It's too long for you to be sitting there and thinking and going, well, you know what? It's fine. I can see Johnny's room is right there. I can just go.
7 minutes.
You just give it 7 minutes. 5 minutes is too little.
Okay.
Maybe somebody needs to get dressed. You don't know if they're in the shower. There's all kinds of reasons why people could take less than 5 minutes or more than 5 minutes. Okay? So you give it 7 minutes. Now, there was 2 ways to approach the 7-minute rule.
Okay.
The first is we've already Scoobied up. We know something's going on.
Okay.
And for some reason, it's taken us a bit of time, right? Then the 7-minute rule, I don't care where you are. I'm leaving and I'm not coming back. Okay? You didn't make it in 7 minutes, you're dead.
After you Scoobied up.
This has happened
and separated.
Well, let's say something creepy happens.
Mm-hmm.
We know, okay, oh my God, this is creepy.
You go to the car, and I'll go get Milo.
Right. And I keep telling you, what about the 7-minute rule? And you're like, no, I just have to do this one thing. That's what your line is.
Right.
You already know.
Once you get into the car, your 7-minute rule has started.
7-minute rule is there. Okay? Now, the other way to approach it is, I haven't actually had a physical conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
If the 7-minute rule is in place and I haven't actually reached you and I'm like, it's kind of creepy, but I don't know, I'm not going to leave and never come back. But I am going to leave maybe for an hour, hour and a half, enough to make you pissed.
Okay.
Enough where you're like, why would my wife leave?
But what if when you get there, after the hour, still not there?
Then you leave forever.
The 7-minute rules become the eternity rule.
Well,
you just leave forever.
Okay, so let's break down that scenario for just a second.
You change your name, you change social security numbers, you move to a different state.
Your partner is dead.
Right? You change the color of your hair,
Well, no.
You get a little tan.
So what I mean is, let's say I went out, because it's always that the family gathers, you all realize, okay, something creepy, you go get ice cream.
Yeah.
And ice cream is an important part because nothing bad happens when you get an ice cream.
Right? Yeah.
It's in public.
You just get fat.
You just diabetes.
Just diabetes.
It's real life horror.
Silent killer.
Right? So then you come back, maybe the creepy thing is gone, maybe the killer's left the house.
Yeah.
It's a possible creepy thing at that point.
Okay.
If you know, there's a killer in the house,
or a demon,
you know that this is happening, you're not going to get ice cream, okay? You're waiting for them to come in 7 minutes, your family, but if they are not there, they are dead.
I see. So you go to the police.
Yes. You go get further help. You call the Warrens. Call Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Yes.
And they will help you. I mean, they're dead now.
Right. If they come, then you should get scared because they're dead.
Yeah, they're dead. But I'm just saying, you get some help.
Yeah.
Is he just asleep? He looks...
He's just asleep. There's the time to cut his little nails.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I really could cut his nails.
Yeah.
Because he hates having his nails cut.
Yeah.
Okay.
Grab him. Look.
Wow, he is out.
Yeah.
Get his
Milo's sleeping.
All right. So those are the first 2 scenarios.
Okay.
And I feel the 7-minute rule covers it. But do you have any suggestions for let's not separate?
Just, I don't know. Because if you use cell phones kind of like to give each other a call, you could lose signal. There's a lot of things that could go wrong.
There are. Here's the other thing, though. If you've prepared well, everybody should know about the 7-minute rule.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
7-minute rule.
Just talk to your family.
Yeah.
Except for small children, they probably wouldn't understand this.
Yeah. Small children, you have to grab them quickly.
Yeah.
And don't leave my sight.
Right?
Or just, offer them to the demon. Take them. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll survive. I'll have another one. I'll adopt. I'll do something.
Right? Okay. Trope number 3.
Okay.
Anyone who does it Sexy time, they die.
Right? If you have sex, you're dead.
You're going to die. So this is famously illustrated by Pamela Voorles, who is, I think that's her last name. She is from Friday the 13th.
Yes, Friday the 13th.
So she was a lady who...
Those college people or high schoolers,
right?
I remember where they were having sex every day.
She couldn't stand that they were having sex all the time. And that turned her into a murderous rage monster.
Yeah.
And in pretty much every horror movie, if a couple is sort of enjoying their sexuality in any way, they're going to die horrific deaths.
Yeah, because they're being inappropriate. And you don't know if they're married. If they're not married, shame.
Shame. Yeah, so I think that this is a really interesting one because obviously, like, you can't stop having sex.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean...
What if you invite the demon? Or the slasher, you know? The little... If you're into the swinger scene...
I'm interested in where this is going.
If you're into the swinger scene, not saying that we are, you know, but a lot of people, probably the listeners of you, they're into swinging, right? So since you're already into the scene, then you're like, hey, demon, do you want to have some fun?
I mean, it's not like a pinhead situation.
Right? Or hey, Jason or Freddy Krueger, do you want to have some fun? You know.
But the thing is, you know that they don't.
Nobody has anybody ever asked.
That's true.
Any of the movies. Maybe that's why he's upset because he's not invited. Maybe that's why he kills them all. Because like I wanted to partake, but you didn't have the decency to invite me.
Okay, so I do not think that this is a viable survival solution, but it's never been explored.
Yeah, people should try it. Swingers out there, if you're listening / viewing, you should try it and leave us a comment.
I've never really understood the thing where like something scary is happening and then you want to have sex because you're scared.
Yeah, maybe it has to do like with laughter. When you go to see a scary movie in the theater, a lot of people just laugh because laughter is a way of, you know,
dispelling that emotion,
disassociating from what's happening in the film. Like it's funny.
Yeah.
And that way you're not scared. Interesting.
Yeah, sort of getting rid of those negative emotions.
But instead of laughing, you should get upset. Because anger trumps fear 100% of the time. That is my rule. That
is your rule, but it doesn't necessarily apply here because remember, you're already feeling like you want to have sex.
Oh, and you're making hate. Like angry sex. Right?
Hate.
Angry sex. And then you see the creature. Aha! You sock him in the face. You survive because you're angry.
Okay. Okay, let's just talk about how would we survive if you're a couple, you're having sex, it's like a scary situation.
You sleep with I don't know, with a gun or a knife right there.
Yeah, you know? I guess.
Or if you're into the kinky stuff, you have the whip. And once they come out, you whip them. You whip them good. Either the monster or the demon or the zombie or whatever. You whip it good.
I would say that I think that people should have better construction skills.
Construction skills?
Okay, so hear me out here. This is a long one a little bit.
Okay.
So if you're a couple that wants to have sex in a horror situation, you're really just desperate for it. You need to have like some nice, good wood screws and a drill, and just put locks all over, or not even locks. You could just screw wood into the doors and the frames.
But what if it's a demon? Demon don't care for locks, and then you just lock yourself in. Therefore, swinging.
Well, most of the time when couples get killed, they get killed by physical objects.
They do.
And usually ghosts don't care. Usually ghosts want to partake.
Right?
I know, I'm serious.
They want to swing.
Yeah, like the demons that we've seen are usually fairly weirdly sexual.
Right.
Like, it's something weird about that.
Yeah, using crosses and stuff.
Oh, no. That is not what I meant. That is not what I meant. But, like, they keep pulling people's feet. It's a whole thing. Okay. But slashers, obviously, they just want to kill you, and they kill you by getting into the room. So just secure your location.
Maybe they have this pent-up sexual frustration. You know, that's why another trope in all 80s slasher films. There's a lot of boobies. A lot of boobies.
Well, that's
like
the
we
thing.
just saw We just saw Night at the Creeps for no reason.
For no reason. There's just boobies everywhere.
Yeah, during the montage, it's just, oh, look at all these ladies taking showers.
Right.
And let's not even look at their face, not even acknowledge them as people.
Right.
Let's just zoom in on each and one of them, just lathering up them boobies.
Okay, so let's move on to our next trope.
Okay.
All right? We've given no real practical advice on just don't have sex.
Yeah.
I would just
other than swinging and inviting the undead, just abstain.
So the next trope is the expert sidekick.
The expert sidekick.
So usually there's like a nosy neighbor or an expert arcane archaeologist or somebody that knows a lot.
Yeah, or they're disabled, which for some reason they know a lot.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we're just talking about the experts, but
no, but there's always someone, like the sidekick or the side character. He's gonna die, but he knows a lot.
Yes.
Like at the Night of the Creeps, the kid that had the crutches.
Yes, that's true, but I'm not talking about a sidekick in particular. I'm talking about the expert, whoever the expert is in
the subject matter.
So the subject matter expert, like as an example, in Micro Myers, it's Dr. Sam Loomis.
Yeah.
In
the psychologist that knows about his psyche and all that.
Right. Like in Dracula, it's Van Helsing.
Okay.
Like the people who are the experts on the monster.
Okay.
And what usually happens is they have a couple of monologues, they have exposition, and people listen to them, but they don't really pay enough attention. They don't take it to heart.
Okay.
So if there's somebody in your crew or somebody that you encounter where something creepy happens in your life and suddenly they know all about it, lean into that conversation.
Not every movie has an expert.
No, not every movie has an expert, but it's just a trope. It's a lot of often.
Yeah. Like in, what's that movie that the aliens come, which is a horror movie, but also it's not?
What? Tell me more.
The movie where is the lady and the aliens are just hovering, and she tries to talk to them, and she's figuring out figuring out their language, but she remembers from the future.
Yes.
I don't remember the name of that movie, but she was the subject matter expert.
Yeah, she was the subject.
And people weren't listening to her.
That movie was called Arrival.
Oh, Arrival, yes.
And
yes. So in Arrival, she was the subject matter. And at a certain point, which, let's not say because we're not spoiling Arrival, she is not, people are not listening to her.
Yes.
And she has to take matters into her own hands.
Yes, she does. Or in As Above, So Below.
As Above, So Below.
Is a wonderful, that's one of my all-time favorites. We will be covering that later on this month. Mm-hmm. But that movie has a lot of expertise around where does this evil come from. And that one's more, they become experts as they go.
Okay. Well, let's leave it there because I don't remember much from that movie.
Okay, well, that's good. So our point is, if you want to survive a horror movie situation, experts are usually your best bet.
Pay attention to the subject matter.
But you can become an expert yourself by learning and doing research.
And going through the learning montage.
Yes, the learning montage.
There's always a montage.
Yes. Now, the next trope that we're going to talk about is that sometimes in horror movie situations, there's not a lot of ways to kill the demon or the evil. There's only like one way.
Right? Like knowing the demon's name.
Like knowing the demon's name.
Which sometimes you learn and you don't use it for some reason.
In The Nun 1.
In the first Nun, yes. He learns the name. He does nothing with it. Even though we already knew because the Conjuring 2 came out first, so they had already set the tone that if you know the name, you can defeat it.
Yeah.
But he read it right there in a book.
And he did not do anything.
He read the name and did nothing.
Yeah, what a terrible priest that
right?
was.
He's a terrible priest.
So
very well dressed though.
God, his hat was amazing.
Right? Good hat.
Good hat. So as an example, zombies, headshot.
Headshot.
Werewolves, silver.
Silver bullets, yes.
Vampires, wooden stake.
Wooden stake?
Or crosses.
Vampires, it depends.
Yeah, it depends.
Sometimes it's the sun.
On the lore.
Sometimes the sun just makes them glitter like diamonds.
Yes.
Sometimes you can use garlic, sometimes not. Although garlic has faded away, in the past couple of zombie of vampire things we've seen. So it depends. So do you try them all?
So the survival technique in this is sometimes, while general survival techniques might work, sometimes it's extremely important to get the very specific thing that would harm that one entity. And you kind of have to figure out, based on, I think, what that demon or that supernatural force has done previously, what hasn't worked. Have they gone up against people who were really smart? Because if they've gone up against people who were really smart in the past, they probably have tried a ton of stuff and that didn't work. So that means it would take one thing that they just didn't know to kill it, or you just need to do a little bit of research.
I see.
Okay. And the other thing is, just know your lore. Though, so there's this movie.
What about if it's the Greys, the Anunnakis? Well, what's the lore behind them?
I mean,
there's no way to survive. You're just gonna get abducted.
So I feel that if there's no way out of a horror movie situation, that kind of dives into the realm of cosmic horror. And that's where, remember, we were having this debate yesterday or the day before where we were like, is this cosmic horror? Is it not? And I said, I think the difference is if they won or versus if they didn't. Because if they didn't, the whole world would have been taken over.
Right.
But I'm actually going to amend that based on what you said tonight. I actually think that cosmic horror is created when there's no possible hope of figuring anything out. It just is.
It's just what happens.
It just is. And so, I mean...
But what if it just is, but you survive out of sheer luck?
Well, it still is. I mean, it just because you survived doesn't mean that you did anything, I don't know. This is an interesting question. And I think as we go through movies like The Void and we go through, hopefully I would love to find more movies about the Anunnaki. That would be a really interesting thing to explore, because I don't know, how would we survive? That's the question that we're trying to answer.
Yeah.
There is a really interesting movie that I would like to cover at some point called Omens, where there's one specific weapon that can kill Damien, the evil entity. And it's the weirdest thing. It's the 7 sacred daggers of Tel Magdo.
I don't know what movie you're talking about, but...
We're going to cover it later.
I guess we'll watch it.
But as an example, there's no possible way
that
off the top of my head, no one will remember this. I'm not going to remember it. And
I don't even know what movie you're talking about.
Yeah, which is a good thing. But what I'm saying is, there are certain things like that unless I did research in the moment, there's no way I would be prepared for it.
I see.
So, survival tip, read.
Right, read.
Read.
Get on the internet.
Yeah. The next trope.
Okay.
It's quite fun, actually.
What's the next trope?
I think you're going to be excellent at this. This is where the killer or the entity or whatever, you have vanquished it. You shot it. You've done the thing. You won.
Okay.
And it comes back for one final scare before then you get it again.
Okay.
This is where double tap comes in.
Yeah. Like in Zombieland, you always do the double tap.
Like in Zombieland. Scream, 1996. This is a really big one there. 1976 is Carrie, where her only real friend comes to her gravesite, and Carrie rises from the grave to try and grab her. For no reason, I feel like. I didn't really understand that. But these are things the killer just comes back at the very end.
So just make sure that they're gone.
Well,
I mean, that's the whole thing with Michael Myers.
Yeah.
He always comes back. Doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
You can burn him, stab him, shoot him, take his head off. He'll always come back.
He'll always come back. You're going to have to store it.
So that's his magical power.
That is his magical power.
Because he's just a human.
I mean, he's not. He's not.
Well, I guess he's not.
So I think that is, making sure that something that has killed you or tried to kill you is dead is quite important.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the ways that they come back is like when it's like 2 seconds later and people are suddenly celebrating.
Mm.
Oh, thank God, it's over. And I mean, I know that there's a sense of relief, but no.
So technically, the tip would be, if you think it's over, then you failed.
Well, no,
I mean, never over.
Let's not cause a bunch of psychological harm here,
right?
Because like emotional damage
for the rest of your life. It's never over.
It's never over.
Like the lady from Totally Killers. She
oh my God!
Prepared, right?
Please watch Totally Killers.
The
mother is super prepared.
She was like, "This is happening someday again. I'm going to prepare."
Yeah.
And she wasn't like, I survived. No, she was like, it's gonna happen again. I'm gonna prepare.
She had weapons all over her.
When it happened again, you know what she was? Prepared.
Yeah. So, tips for that is just really you need to be prepared at all times until somebody else takes over that watch.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have one final trope.
Oh.
Okay.
What's the final trope?
The final trope is the final girl.
The final girl. I thought the final trope would include a gimp mask, but it does not.
It does not.
If you've watched our other episodes, you will get the gimp mask.
So the last 2 episodes, Charlie has been talking about this gimp mask as a way to
Slither,
like creatures, and I just
with Slither and Night of the Creeps. Gimp mask.
Look at him.
So, but anyway, you were saying the final girl. What is the final girl?
The final girl. So, as an example, Mina Murray in Dracula.
Okay.
This was one of the first final girls. So she escapes and everybody else dies. And the final girl typically is depicted by someone such as Ellen Ripley or Lauren Strode, who was in Halloween. Mm-hmm. And Ellen Ripley, as an example, an Alien, she ends up fighting the monster, but at first she runs. So she runs through most of the movie trying to escape. And when everybody dies, then she decides, okay, I'm going to have to get my stuff together, get some weapons, and actually go on the offense. And beat the creature. The final girl is a horror movie trope where the character just goes after the monster.
But does it have to be a woman? Or is it just a...
So, the trope, yes. Survival, no. And more modern horror movies are starting to finally veer away from it.
Okay.
But it was kind of... A lot of people disliked it, but a lot of people said it was some of the first depiction of, the feminist icon. So it was kind of I think it was a positive thing for a while, but I think it's time to let it go.
I see. Okay.
So in terms of survival on this, we're all as audiences really excited when a character decides to make a plan and go on the offense. Like, you and I are always super excited at that moment.
Right, when they do the montage.
Right, they do the montage, they're getting ready, they're making a plan. They're
making a spaceship or getting weapons and soldering stuff.
Yeah.
Or taking showers and getting zoomed in.
Yeah, exactly. They're like all prepared. They put the makeup underneath their eyes.
Yeah. Like in Predator when, the
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I gotta fight it.
Yeah, he's like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
So we're all really excited about that. What I would say
would the tip be to do montages in real life?
Yes,
just turn on a camera
everywhere.
And do it in slow motion. Put on music, blast music out loud. It's raining men.
I like
it's raining men. Hey man. While you're getting ready. That's the song.
Okay, I mean, I do love that.
Uh-huh.
Film yourself doing montages every change outfits, get equipment.
Get equipment.
Remember, you got to look at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah, weld stuff. Get hammers and knives.
You don't even know what you're doing.
No,
you're just building
hammering on a wall. Yeah. Would that be the tip or no?
No, But we're gonna go with it for now.
Okay.
So then you gotta board up the windows.
Right? Yeah, you board the
reason.
windows. You know, maybe a hurricane is coming. You live in Florida or in the Caribbean. That's useful.
So my tip for the final girl scenario is it's not about whether you're a girl or whether you're the final one left. Hopefully it's not just those scenarios ever. But my tip is get into that headspace sooner. That's where the 7-minute rule comes in. That's where getting angry, not fearful comes in. Because you have to get into a mindset where I'm going to survive. And let's say you're going up against a slasher. Mm-hmm. What was in that movie that we saw, The Invitation, where the main character talks to his girlfriend and he says, they're just people and we will survive no matter what. Mm. That's the thing. You have to be in that mindset and be willing to go into that mindset. And I think that takes practice and training. And you know, fear is such an easy thing to succumb to in these scenarios. Yeah.
But wouldn't that only be if it's not supernatural, if it's just humans?
I mean,
what if it's, demons and shit?
If it's demons, I don't know. That's an interesting point. I still feel that your attitude matters. Because remember how some demons feed off of fear and
yes, that's why you
weakness.
Get upset.
Yeah.
The nun is never going to expect you to grab her by the throat and slap her a little.
Punch her in the face.
If you see that nun, you slap her in the face.
Right?
Yeah, that's what I would do. Her beady...
if it's a demon nun...
Yeah, her beady glowing eyes, just, ha-ha! You're not staring... 1-2. Yeah, a little 1-2, That's what
you could challenge her to a duel with
right?
a little...
Yeah, I challenge you to a duel. Ha-ha! And she'll be like... And you're like, ha-ha! That's what you should do. Get upset.
I love that in demon horror comedies, they'll move the furniture around and you'll just be like, I do like this configuration, but could you move the couch a little bit further over to the left?
A little bit to the left, a little bit to the right.
No one ever expects that.
Yeah. Could you please turn off the lights?
In that respect, I think horror comedies have a lot of good tips on how to adjust your attitude.
Yeah. Either make fun of it or get upset.
Because listen, how do you want to go out anyway? If there's no fighting against these kinds of things, do you really want to go out feeling like you're so terrified that you're
shitting your pants?
I was gonna say pee your pants, but I like that you took it a step further.
Yeah, no one wants to die shitting their pants. That's not a way to go.
Just say poop your pants.
Yeah, pooping, shitting,
I think that we've got a lot of really good tropes and tips here. Mm-hmm. So what I would love is for our listeners and our viewers to give us some tropes that you've encountered and some ways that you think that characters should have survived when they didn't. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So...
if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment.
Yeah.
Or if you're listening to a podcast, I don't know how podcasts leave comments, but leave a comment too.
You can contact us at our email address, which should be in the description.
Which I don't think it is. We'll have to look into that.
We'll have to look into that. Yeah. But you can also go to our website, which will be up in the next week, which is outsmartingtheshadows.com.
Outsmartingtheshadows.
And what we're going to try and do is we are going to have these short talks maybe 1 or 2 more times before the end of October.
Okay.
And when we come back in November and we go back to our regular program of once a week, we will have these scattered throughout the month.
I see. Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
How about you? Do you have any more
tips?
Survival tips? On tropes that we didn't mention today?
Yes, and remember, give us a comment and send us some movie suggestions that you'd like us to watch in future episodes as well. Remember, in the month of October, we're going to have 1 episode every single day leading up to our favorite holiday, Halloween.
Yes, we will.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Remember to be vigilant, be safe, and be the last one standing.
Always.